Justin Baldoni's attorney, Bryan Freedman, has spoken to Deadline.com about this sham lawsuit that was discovered, about the lawsuit that Blake Lively and her attorneys have sued to obtain those subpoenas. Now, I have covered this in previous videos, so you can go back and watch them, but essentially this sham lawsuit was created from a shell corporation that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds own, basically Blake Reynolds, that wasn't used for anything. It was created just with the sole purpose for anonymous activity like this. And it was used to sue Jane Doe's to obtain this subpoena and subpoena people like Stephanie Jones and get text messages that had content that we all saw in Blake Lively's complaint. Why is this wild? Because A, I'm not an attorney, but I have never seen it being done in any of these cases, and neither have so many of these attorneys that are speaking up. Is it legal? Yes. Is it ethical? That's another question. There's so many things that have kind of popped up about it, but let's talk first about what Bryan Freedman has said here. The headline says Justin Baldoni. Obviously, it means Bryan Freedman, but it says damns Blake Lively for abuse and sham lawsuit seeking text smear campaign evidence. Nothing to hide, actress, lawyers declare, basically saying her side is saying everything's fine, but let's read into it. The beginning of the article just kind of gives you a little background saying 5 months. I can't believe we've been doing this for 5 months. That's wild. Saying like some of the questions have been coming up. How in the world did she know about this alleged online smear campaign? It says in partial response, we now know that Lively gained the info in the late summer and early fall of last year in a targeted shadow suit of sorts. This is that Van Zandt suit. And the information came from Jones' work boss, Stephanie Jones. Remember, I've said it from the beginning. It starts with Stephanie. It ends with us, but it starts with Stephanie. And then this goes into this kind of sham lawsuit. It says eventually revealing a treasure trove of what looks like on the surface, like incriminating and unpalatable texts and other correspondence between Melissa, Jen Abel, etc. We find out that this Van Zandt plaintiff was formed in Delaware and had sued the Does, the 10 Does, which are like John Does. Now, Freedman is speaking. He's saying with a clear tone of more to come. Freedman's not doubting that subpoena anymore. At first, he was questioning, is there even a subpoena? Now he's like, wait, what? No, now we know. And he's pissed. He says, Miss Lively's and Mr. Reynolds' company, Van Zandt, had nothing to do with this case, and they knew it. Freedman told Deadline on Monday, this sham lawsuit was designed to obtain subpoena power without oversight or scrutiny, and in doing so denied my clients the ability to contest the propriety, nature, and scope of the subpoena. For example, this subpoena that was sent to Stephanie Jones was asking for content of text messages, including text messages that had Justin Baldoni's information and text messages back and forth, Jen Abel's, Melissa Nathan's, Jamie Heath's, various people at Wayfair. And none of them were notified. So Stephanie Jones, the perpetrator here, who I believe is like the worst, right? She just willingly handed over all of these text messages and emails like, oh, you want a subpoena? No problem. They're here. They're waiting for you. She basically asked for the subpoena. She was in on this, right? Which is such a strong tell that she was waiting for this and actually probably asking for it and wanting this subpoena and was part of this plan. She didn't tell any of her clients that she was getting subpoenaed. She definitely didn't tell Wayfair. She didn't tell Jen Abel, her former employee. She didn't tell anyone that, hey, by the way, I have a subpoena coming. Your private information is now at risk. That's shady beyond. It continues to say, having filed more than his fair share of Doe suits over the years and taken slings and arrows for his tactics, Freedman added, there is nothing normal about this. Officers of the court have a duty of candor to the court and an obligation not to file fictitious lawsuits that have no basis in fact or law. A party with no connection to these proceedings asserting a breach of contract against another party they claim not to be able to identify does not qualify. This was done in bad faith and constitutes a flagrant abuse of process. She wasted the judicial court's resources all for her own gain. And she totally faked the system. And when I say she, I mean Blake Lively, but I really mean her legal team that advised her to do this. And Ryan Reynolds, because I always just want to throw him in because I think he's shady as F. Now, of course, her attorneys, Ezra Hudson and Mike Gottlieb, are, acknowledging that yes, we did this. They're not denying it in any way, but they're saying it's totally fine. Yeah, it's above board, and this is how we had to do it. We had to get to the heart of the online attacks. We had to find out, and this is how we had to do it. There's nothing untoward here, just conscientious and thorough investigation. Yeah, sure, Jan. They continued saying the Lively parties acted upon reliable information and employed common tools such as Doe lawsuits and civil subpoenas that are entirely lawful and appropriate for pursuing claims and uncovering the identity of unknown perpetrators of unlawful activities. Yeah, unknown, unlawful perpetrators. If you don't know who they are, but they knew exactly who these people were, duh. Hudson and Gottlieb go on to say, pointing out what the result was, this lawsuit unearthed the Wayfarer party's documented plan in their own text messages to destroy Blake Lively, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they're coming up. Listen, the attorney's job is to argue. Whether or not they think it's right or not, their job is to argue for their clients. So they're going to argue from here until Timbuktu that Blake Lively is correct. But we all know that she did something shady here. The only people that are standing up for her are people that will twist the facts. And I don't know, I guess her circle, because they're all yes people. Every attorney I have talked to, every attorney that I've watched on YouTube and watched cover this case, every attorney I've read talk about this case, other than a very select few of attorneys who really, really, really are obsessed with Blake Lively and want her to, for some reason, win everything that she talks about because I guess she's a woman or something, believe that this was done in bad faith. So I am 100% team Bryan Freedman on this one.